Today is the day that I am sewing up my overly complicated potato chip quilt top. Up here I have all of my plain 10.5 by 5.5 inch rectangles, and then down here I have some of my pieced ones. Here are my other ones here. Some are nicer than others, clearly, but they were all really fun to put together. Before I can start sewing, I do need to get organized, and although this looks sort of organized, it's not, because I have no idea how many blocks are here. I need to count up my solids and my pieced. If I don't have enough, once I decide, how I'm going to put them together, that's another thing I need to get sorted. But if I don't have enough blocks, I need to use my scraps to sort of cobble together those extra blocks. So that could take a while. Okay, if my calculations are correct, I have 78 of my solid blocks up here, and I have 36 of my pieced blocks for a grand total of 114 blocks. So after I figured that out, I started thinking about construction and how I wanted to put them all together. I originally thought I'd piece them into squares and then piece the squares together like the original potato chip quilts I've seen, but now I'm not really liking that idea. I also thought, let me get my notebook, where is it? I also briefly considered making rectangle blocks instead of square blocks, and I didn't like how these seams would meet up, so I scrapped that. I also didn't like the ratio of the width to length for a finished quilt top, but that's besides the point. So after I scrapped that, I decided I'm going to do this medallion sort of method. So if you look right here in the center, that's the classic block. I would normally make a bunch of these and sew them together, but instead, I'm going to make my classic block and just keep adding rings as I go, like one big medallion quilt. So after some messy sketching and some rudimentary quilt math, I figured out that I need 98 blocks for a 70 by 70 inch quilt. So obviously 98 is less than 114, so I can actually remove some of the blocks that I don't like. I think I'm pretty okay with the solids, but there are a couple of the pieced blocks that I do not like. For instance, these ones, I think there's 3 of them, so I can remove those and I don't need to use them. I can put them in with my scraps. I was thinking about doing a scrappy panel on my backing, but I'm not sure. So I'll remove that one, and then possibly I was thinking about removing this one. I thought I would like to pair these two up like this in the quilt, but I don't think I like it as much. I can audition it and see if I like it, but I think this one's probably going to go away also. Luckily, I like most of the other ones. I am a little worried about how these 3 will fit in to the quilt. If they stand out too much and they can't blend in, then I might remove them. But I actually really like this lavender and this red check together. It might just be me. But if they don't play well with the quilt, then they're out. So I should have plenty of blocks to work with, and I like that I'm going to have a little more than I need because that'll give me a little wiggle room in case things aren't working out exactly as I was hoping. Now, technically I could make a very detailed mock-up with EQ8, but I've been flying by the seat of my pants for this whole process, so I figure I should finish as I began, and that just basically means I'm going to continue agonizing over every decision I make as I sew up this quilt top. So, fun. I'm also very, very glad that I have my Frankenstein design wall over here. It's going to be really helpful as I addition blocks as I go. But before I get started sewing, I do need your opinion about backing fabric. So all of you experienced quilters out there, you need to let me know if I'm going to make a bad choice, okay? So I was thinking that I'd like to use Cuddle Fleece or Minky for the backing, but then I started worrying that it might not be compatible with the yarn-dyed fabric because I'm expecting it to shrink quite a bit. But I'm not even sure if Minky shrinks at all, let alone if it'll shrink equally with the top. So that could be a recipe for disaster. My other option that I was playing with was flannel, because I just want the finished quilt top to be really warm and cozy, and so I wasn't wanting to use a normal quilter's cotton for the backing. So I would absolutely appreciate it if you left any hints or tips or opinions in the comment section to help me make this decision and hopefully avoid any disasters. Okay, now I can finally get started on the center of this quilt. And I was thinking that for the very center, I was going to do 1 pieced block and 1 solid block together for those first 2 side-by-side pieces. And because I have only one of this block, I was thinking about this, or possibly this one. Although if it doesn't work out in the quilt, it's going to be right in the center and draw a lot of attention, so not that one. Do I see if I have any more single blocks? I don't think so. Okay, I'm going to try to work with it. So I'm going to use this one for the center, and I'm going to try to avoid these fabrics beside it. So maybe something dark like this one. So I'll go and put these on the design wall and see how they work together. I think they're balancing okay. There's a little bit of contrast, but I want to warm it up for the blocks that go around it. And you know what? I'm already feeling a little bit of decision paralysis because there is no right or wrong here. I don't know where to start. So maybe some purples and a lighter color. So this is the first round that I came up with, and I feel like I need a method. I need some kind of rule to follow to make it cohesive, because this looks a little bit messy. And I was thinking maybe I could do a light fabric for one round and then a dark one for another and then medium. But I like the range of fabrics that I have. It isn't really evenly split into those groups. So eventually I would have to abandon that pattern on the outer edges, especially when I start using the pieced blocks. Or maybe I should just go easy on myself and just do it completely random. So yeah, I'm already agonizing over every decision. So give me a minute. I'm going to try a couple different things maybe. I think I like this combination a little bit better. The center pops a little bit more. So I think I'm going to try this one and maybe it'll get more messy as I work my way out. So for this center unit, I need to start by sewing these two rectangles together. Now I sew the top and bottom rectangles to that center unit. Before I can sew the side rectangles on, I need to sew them together, right here and there. I should also mention that I bumped down my stitch length quite a bit. And hopefully that will help with these very easily frayable fabrics. And speaking of fraying, I am trying to handle these threads as I go. I'm trying not to pull on them, trying to trim them. I don't want them to end up sewn in my seams and then make that a problem for future me. So I'm trying to take care of those as I go. The side seams are sewn, so now I can attach them to the center unit. Okay, first round done, and I do think I am regretting this pink a little bit. So for the next round, dark and more saturated. And I'm going to try to figure out a color combination that maybe makes this pink a little less bright. Look how messy it's getting over here. It's hard to take just one fabric without messing everything up. So I'm thinking I'm going to go towards some dark purples, some of these rusty oranges, and I also am going to incorporate some pieced blocks. A lot of lint on that. And I need to keep it dark, so it's either between this one, these ones, or maybe these ones actually. We'll see. So the goal with my piece blocks is to really add a lot of interest to the basic pattern. So look at this, how they fit together, and it really gives something extra to the piece. But I don't think I want to use these ones yet. I think I want to do one that just has 3. I think I like these ones a little bit more at this point, but I need to choose a different fabric right here. Okay, now this is interesting because you can see the half square triangles, and then when it meets to turn the corner, you get some little flying geese. So I think I'm going to actually do that. And now I just have to work on finding some colors that complement it for the rest of that round. I think this is as good as it's going to get. And I also think I need to come to grips with the fact that this is going to be an ugly quilt, okay? I don't know what I'm doing. And so far, I don't know. I don't think it's working. But nothing I do does work, so there's that. And the construction, again, is going to be the exact same thing. I'm going to sew these two together and then sew it to the center. And then the same for the top, and sew it to the center, and then for both of the sides. So for this side, I want my half square triangles to match up nicely. So I'm going to do a little bit of glue basting just down here on this corner. I think I'll start here, just do a couple dots at the intersection just so it'll be nice and neat, hopefully. And of course, I didn't press in a way that would make it easy to nest my seams, so that was on me. Just match them up as best as I can, and then hold them down until I can get my iron to them, especially these two key places. Get my iron and set that glue. And you can actually see here, I messed up this seam, and I had a terrible time picking it out, so I just did another seam over it to get it to my 1/4 inch. So I'm just making do where I can. So I'm going to fold this open just to check, and it looks like these are lined up pretty well. And now I can go and take this to my sewing machine. Okay, let's see how I did. That looks pretty good. This does not look as good as I was hoping. I'm going to lose a little bit of that point when I sew whatever's going to be on this side. But it's close enough for me. This matched up just fine, so I'm going to call it a win. This is looking a lot better sewn up than it did just in pieces on the board. It's still not as nice as I was hoping, but it's better when it's put together. I'm going to stop the video here because I am absolutely boiling in my sewing room and I need a break. I know this is going to be a short video, sorry about that, but I'm going to finish putting it all together in the next video after I've regrouped and tried to come up with a plan on what I should do next. So if you have any ideas on how to tackle the rest of this quilt top, please leave them in the comment section because I'm really not sure. At this point, I'm thinking another light round, and then after that, complete chaos. That's as far as I've gotten. So I'll see you again next time. I need some iced coffee or I'm gonna faint. Thanks for spending time with me today, quilters. If you want to support this channel and help me buy supplies and materials for future videos, please visit my Buy Me a Coffee page linked in the description below. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and subscribe so you don't miss upcoming videos. And I'll see you again real soon. Bye!